Alrighty, we're back with Tennessee and the boy in the bathroom at Pine Haven School. The Pine Haven School, located in Jamestown, is old and abandoned, and it's said to be haunted. A tragic story supposedly took place there, where a boy was cornered by a group of bullies in the bathroom and shoved into a mirror, which shattered and killed him. To avoid getting caught committing murder, the bullies decided to bury the body underneath the floorboards. Today, people say that if you go inside the school, you can see the reflection of the boy if you look in the mirror. And now on to Texas and the Candy Lady. Candy started appearing on windowsills. In the early 1900s, children in an unnamed rural town in Texas started to go missing, and the residents blamed it on the Candy Lady. The story says that she would go around leaving candy on children's windows, and eventually she'd lure the kids out with notes attached, promising more candy. The story picked up steam when a farmer allegedly found rotten teeth on his farm and later found the body of a boy with his pockets stuffed with candy. While little is known about the origin of the story, some have speculated that the Candy Lady was real and that her name was Clara Crane. Now on to Utah and the curse of the Escalante Petrified Forest. While it is illegal to take anything from the Escalante Petrified Forest State Park, there is a legend that says that anyone who takes pieces of petrified wood from the park will be cursed with bad luck, sickness, and accidents. Park manager Kendall Farnsworth stated in 2014 that he gets about a dozen packages every year containing a piece of wood from the park and an apologetic letter detailing the sender's misfortunes. Next up is Vermont and the Frozen People. Winters in Vermont are brutal. First appearing in a diary that was published in the late 1800s, The Legend of the Hibernating Old People recounts the tale of a poor family outside of Mount Pillier who couldn't afford to feed and clothe the oldest members of their family, so they froze the people and buried them. According to the tale, when spring rolled around, the elders thawed out and were just fine. Next up is Virginia and the Bunny Man. Bunny Man Bridge is in Clifton, Virginia. The Bunny Man's legend starts with what every good urban legend starts with: an insane asylum. The people of Clifton were so up in arms about the asylum that they were able to get all the patients transferred. The patients were being moved on a bus that crashed, and the police were able to catch all the patients except one, the Bunny Man. According to the tale, the Bunny Man lived in the woods and sustained himself on the woodland creatures like bunnies. But eventually, he attacked humans. Some people reported being attacked by a man with a hatchet. Other tales say that groups of teens would see bright light and then would wind up dead and strung up over a bridge. Next we have Washington and Bigfoot. One of the most famous Bigfoot sightings. Bigfoot is an internationally recognizable name and has been spotted all over the country. But Bigfoot has been spotted the most in Washington state. Bigfoot is essentially a gigantic ape-like creature who is either a ferocious beast who attacks loggers and hikers or a gentle giant who just wants to be left alone. Either way, There's something creepy about an undiscovered species of animal wandering around the Pacific Northwest, evading capture. Next up, we have West Virginia and the Mothman. The Mothman statue in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. In 1966, stories say that West Virginia was visited by an insectoid flying creature with bright red eyes who resembled both moth and a man. He was spotted flying around the town of Point Pleasant along with shining lights and the Men in Black. Mothman's origins have been claimed as supernatural, alien, or government experiment gone wrong. But Point Pleasant has embraced the monster, erecting a statue, creating a museum, and even dedicating a festival to him. In 2002, a film starring Richard Gere called The Mothman Prophecies was released. Next is Wisconsin and Boy Scout Lane. The road is in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. The story of what actually happened at Boy Scout Lane varies, but they all end up with the same conclusion. Next up is Wisconsin and Boy Scout Lane. The road is in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. The story of exactly what happened at Boy Scout Lane varies, but they all end up with the same conclusion. A group of Boy Scouts dead on the road. In some stories, there was a bus crash with no survivors, or they were murdered by their bus driver, or they just mysteriously vanished into the woods one by one. Visitors have reported seeing swinging bodies in trees, feeling as though they were being watched, and finding child-sized handprints. Next up is Wyoming and Devil's Tower. Devil's Tower is located in the Bear Ridge Mountains of Wyoming. There is no scientific consensus on why Devil's Rock looks the way it does, but one Native American creation story attributes the landmark shape to a tragedy. According to the story, a large group of Cheyenne girls were attacked and killed by a bear. Two escaped and found help from two boys who convinced the girls to act as bait. They climbed to the top of the tower, and the bear tried to follow. The boys shot arrows at the bear, and it finally gave up, leaving scratches all the way down the rock as it slid down. And that was the end of my states. And sorry to say, folks, I won't be doing that again. Thanks for sticking with me through this. See you next time.